stick around. Now I'm going to address some of the questions you're going to be asked for when you start meeting these Ukrainian women. The main question, the number one question you're going to be asked first off all the time is, why do you seek a woman from Ukraine? You know, everybody's answer is pretty much the same, as far as I know. You're going to have to be prepared for these types of questions because you're going to be asked. Now, like I said, your answer is going to probably be different from my answer, but the way I respond to that is with honesty. I let them know that I like that Ukrainian women still have that traditional family morals. I like that Ukrainian women still like to be feminine. They still like to dress like women. They like to act like women. You walk the streets in here in Odessa, and you can just see the difference in how they walk, how they carry themselves. I miss that back home. You know, they still like to wear dresses. They like to wear heels. Like I said, they like to dress like women. I have daughters, I have sisters, I have a mom. I'm not going to knock all American women, obviously, and I tell them this, but the women that I've encountered, they don't have the femininity that Ukrainian women have. So this is how I respond. But like I said, your response may differ from mine, but you answer the way you want to answer. But they're going to ask you that, so be prepared. It's something personal to me. Is I get asked a lot, you know, Joe, how are African Americans received in Ukraine? I've been coming here for about 9 years. I've been here 26 times over those 9 years. I've met many women, and I see a lot of black people here in Ukraine. Ukraine is pretty much a melting pot, just like America. I have never heard of anybody having a problem, you know, because of this color of their skin. I can understand it being a concern to some of you who are thinking of coming over, but I'm telling you by my experience, I have never had any bad experiences because of the color of my skin at all. You know, could there be problems? There could be problems everywhere you go, I guess. But here in Ukraine, in 9 years, 26 visits, not one problem have I occurred. So put that out of your mind. The next topic. Hi, I'm coming to you for, oh, Jesus Christ. Just say, we'll try it. We're going to try it again. Damn.
All right, did you guys see that intro? That was so cool. Dina, you're beautiful. You're a star.
Nice.
Wonderful. I love that intro.
Guys.
Hey guys, welcome to our Monday night webcast. My name is John Adams, co-founder of Foreign Affair, and I am joined by the beautiful Dina, who not only works with us here at a Foreign Affair, but also met her husband via a Foreign Affair so long ago, right?
Absolutely.
So Dina and I are going to be your host here for tonight, and we're looking forward to it. I think it'll be a fun show. We have a theme that I will get to in a minute, but I just wanted to go over a couple things really quick here. You know, we have the Colombian tours that are going out starting this week, right? So they're going to Barranquilla this week, and then next week over to Medellin. I was just on the phone with Maria, the district manager there in Colombia, and she tells me that we have had at least one cancellation in each of the tours. So if there is anyone out there that would like to jump on last minute to the Barranquilla tour or the Medellin tour, there is a possibility. You have to call in, you have to check. Promise you that we can get you in, because by the time you call, somebody else may have already called or whatever. But if you want to try to go, we would love to have you. And if we can get you on the tour, we will. This has been really difficult for us scheduling these tours. Normally we want to take as many men as possible, but because of COVID, because of certain regulations in the foreign countries that we're going to, we've been somewhat limited on what we could do and what we can't do. It's starting to open up more, and especially in Colombia, where it's starting to open up quite a bit more. But the problem is you never know what they're going to do. You know, one minute they say this, next minute they say this. And so it can change very quickly, and we have to be ready for that as well. So you can see the space that we have now at some of these socials and how much room there is and everything, and that's going to be required. That's really important. All right. So anyways, that's that about the socials coming up and the tours coming up in Colombia. I also want to give a shout out to all you guys that got back recently from the Ukraine tour. Dave, I see you're on here with us right now. You just did a video with us about your experiences in the Ukraine during those tours to Kyiv, Kharkov, and then Odessa and Nikolaev. So congratulations, guys. You did it. No more keyboard Romeo for you guys. You were out there. Isn't it wonderful when they go and they actually meet the women?
Yeah, and I got a call from Chris today. He's a really nice guy, and he asked some advices, but he actually met a girl who already have a tourist visa. She has a tourist visa. Yeah, it'll be much easier for him, and she speaks English, and she already been here. So congratulations, I think it was a
That's fantastic.
good one.
What tour was that?
It was last tour.
The Kyiv,
Yeah,
Kharkov one?
yeah.
Oh,
He
okay.
loves everything, so he said thank you, appreciate it. He was going to talk to you, but he wasn't here, so and I talked to him.
Right. That's
So,
fine with
yeah.
me. That's great.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, you know, guys, when you do one of the tours with us, we always like to send out a tour survey form after you've done the tour so that we can get some feedback from you. And look, there's always ways to make things better, so we get some wonderful constructive criticism from time to time. On this one I sent out, we got a little bit of that, and we got a lot of, hey, this was great. Hey, I loved it. Hey, it was the best thing ever. Hey, I'm already signed up for the next one. That kind of stuff. So that's wonderful to see. And, you know, that's a testament to our staff, though, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
the women that are over there doing the job that they do. And I say women because it's mostly women that work for us, but they do an amazing job.
They do an amazing job. I'm working with them with schedule and Skype calls. They're amazing.
Yeah, it's not
they're
easy.
It's not easy, guys.
Yeah. They talk about like Helen and Kyiv. She's a machine. She knows everybody. She knows, you know, you give her an ID number, she knows who it is. She can do this. I mean, it's just not easy. So, all right. So tonight, guys, we have an interesting topic we're going to be discussing. You know, it's funny because, you know, there's some sites out there that kind of have touched on this, and, you know, like it just started happening. This unfortunate topic we're going to talk about, and we don't like talking about negative things, but you know, this has been going on for 20 years. I mean, off and on, unfortunately. I mean, there's always been possible issues with foreigners being overcharged for certain services they might be using, right? And we've been talking about it for years and years and years. We give our clients lectures on it. We tell them to be careful wherever they go. We tell them not to flash money. We tell them all these things. I just got done a few minutes ago doing the orientation call for our Colombian tours that are going out this week, both with the group from Medellin and with Barranquilla. And that's one of the things we talked about is, guys, if you have a Rolex watch, leave it at home. Don't take it with you to a foreign country and start going around flashing that, hey, look at me, I have money, right? You might as well just put a neon dollar sign above you with the letter V for victim, because you're just making yourself into a victim. So you want to be careful when you travel. So this show tonight, our theme, we're gonna get to your questions too, because that's what this is about, is answering your questions. It's always been that way since the very beginning. And this show is dedicated to you, so we want you to ask as many questions as possible. But in between time, there's Dave. Doesn't he clean up well? He looks good there. Woo! So during the time between questions and whatnot, we're going to talk about this subject. And to give you a little bit of a better idea, because I just did a video recently, because I was aghast at a story I heard from Odessa, Ukraine about a client who went to a restaurant and ended up with a $7,000 restaurant bill. I mean, have you ever had a $7,000 restaurant bill, Dina?
What you can have for $7,000? I mean, a very expensive champagne, probably.
Maybe.
Like
I don't know. It was absolutely ridiculous.
caviar.
Caviar.
Like a live caviar.
Well, unfortunately, the guy had no
Champagne.
clue, because he found well, you know what? Instead of me talking about this, let's just show the video really fast, and then you guys will understand what I'm talking about, and then we can have some fun with this and maybe learn a thing or two. So let's see the video. We give a lot of advice, and sometimes guys will follow it and sometimes they won't. All right, guys, so today I want to do a video about something that just came across my desk. And although I'm very proud of our office in Odessa and the office manager, Anna, and the way she dealt with this situation for this client. And I want to share that with you because I think it might help you too if you ever find yourself in a situation like this. You know, we always try to talk about the positive things that happen out there because there's so many wonderful things that do happen in the world of international dating. But as I always also say, there's always going to be good, bad, and ugly as well, right? And sometimes you do have to deal with some of the ugly out there. In this case, what I'm talking about is what they call the restaurant scam, right? Now, we've been dealing with this for many, many years. This is nothing new. It's no secret. It's actually very common. I was reading quite a few months ago in a paper about it happening in France, right? Where a couple would go in for lunch, they're foreigners, and they'd walk out with a $700 bill for virtually nothing, right? But they're foreigners and they're confused and they pay it. I also saw a whole thing about it in Miami, where a club is taking advantage of people too, in that same way, for thousands of dollars actually. So this can happen anywhere. So you have to be careful when you're going to someplace you're not familiar with, especially if you're a foreigner, that you don't get overcharged. And sometimes the person you're with, whether it's a woman or a translator, could be basically in on it, right, and trying to get some kind of a kickback or a cut, right? And it's not that prevalent, but it can happen from time to time. Actually, we have a list of good restaurants to go to where we've never seen those establishments partake in that kind of practice. And then we have a list of what we call the blacklist of restaurants that we do feel partake in that kind of practice. And we ask our clients to steer away from those establishments because we just don't want them to have any issues or problems. So it came to my attention here recently that in Odessa, there was a client who had worked with us in the past, and he was back in Odessa, and he decided to avail himself of, I believe it was Tinder, and got a date from that, and went out with this woman and went to a nightclub, and after, you know, they ordered and everything, and by the time he got his bill, that bill came to $7,000. Okay, $7,000 is ridiculous, right? I mean, that is just something that, like, he's like, how could this happen? Of course, then you get the Guidos, as I call them, that come in and they make sure that you pay the bill. And he really didn't have much of a choice, so he used his credit card and he paid the bill. And he walked out and he was like in shock. He's like, oh my gosh, $7,000, which is huge, right? For one evening. He actually went to our office because he had good experiences with us in the past. And although we had nothing to do with this, he talked with Anna, our office manager there, told him what was going on, and she immediately realized that this was a scam, this was a problem. So she took him to the police station, and they did a police report. And he was able to get a copy of that police report, which he was then able to use with his credit card company in order to reverse that charge, which is wonderful. Would have he been able to do that if he didn't have access to a site like us? Probably not, because it's not so easy as a foreigner to walk into a police station and try to get something like that done. But thank goodness he did know about a foreign affair and was able to come to us, and we were able to help him. So guys, just in the future, you know, be very careful if you're going out on a first date with someone that you've never met. You know, you should be the one picking the place. And if you need a list, we can give you a list of, you know, restaurants that we feel are going to treat you honestly and fairly, right? Whether you're in, you know, Odessa or Kyiv or Kharkov, whatever city it is in Ukraine that you're going to, we'd be more than happy to help you with that. Just be careful. And if you ever find yourself in a situation like that client found himself in, give us a call. Whether or not you used our service to begin with or not doesn't matter. He did not use our service in this case. But we were able to help him, and we'll be happy to help you as well, because we just don't think that's good for anyone, right? It's just kind of a ridiculous thing that's happened. And again, it happens all over the world. It's not just the Ukraine. It happens in many different countries. And it's just not restaurants. There's taxi cab scams. There's all kinds of different things that foreigners can fall victim to if they're not careful about what they're doing in their surroundings. And so that's why I think it's always good to go over with a reputable company that can help you avoid those landmines and help you avoid those kind of problems, so it doesn't put a huge damper on your stay there and on your experience of trying to find that right someone to spend the rest of your life with, right? That special someone. So keep that in mind, guys. Just something, I saw that, and I want to give a shout out to Anna too. She went way out of her way. Again, this client was not working with us at all. He had found this date from a totally different platform, but then he came to her with this problem, and she just jumped right on it, and she did what she needed to do to help him to get his money back. And I'm really proud of her. I think that's a great thing that she did. And of course, our staff will do that for you, though, because we've been at this now for 26 years. And we give a lot of advice, and sometimes guys will follow it, and sometimes they won't. In this case, obviously, this was a client that wasn't even working with us, so I'm glad that she was able to help him in the end. All right? So keep that in mind, guys. If you have any questions about any of this, please feel free to give us a call before you go over, and we'll give you any advice that we can, because you don't want to fall prey to something stupid like that. Okay? Thanks so much. Now I think we're back. Okay. Yeah, I was telling Kirk, you probably should have muted me like halfway through. I talked too much. But I had to say something about that, because I was like appalled that you can go into a restaurant and get charged $7,000. So our poll question tonight for you guys is the following. Have you ever been intentionally overcharged, either domestically or internationally? And if so, how much? Share us any of your horror stories you might have of what you've been overcharged possibly, because I think it's pretty crazy. All right, so I don't know, did you ever see anything like that in Russia? I don't remember really Russia. No.
I don't know. I never heard about that. Just here. I mean, from you about that $7,000. But I'm just wondering what you can order, and do you guys know exchange rate? I mean, do you even know it's like, what is it, 20 hryvnia to dollar? I mean, it's easy to remember. I mean,
I think what happens in some of these things is that since the woman that he was with from this other service was participating in it and probably going to get some kind of a kickback, she was just ordering this stuff, and he didn't even know.
He didn't even look at the menu.
He didn't even look, and she's just ordering, and then in the end they come to him like, oh, well, you're with her, you have to pay.
Oh, okay.
And
did she leave? Like,
I don't know what happened afterwards. I don't know, but yeah, that's just crazy.
Just
and you guys, it can happen on different levels too. I mean, that's a very, very, very extreme, the most extreme case I've ever heard of, and just very crazy. But you just want to be careful when you go over. Listen to our staff. They give you great advice, and they will tell you the restaurants that you can go to that are very safe, fine, are never going to do anything like that, and some restaurants that are not. And you've got to be careful if you decide to go there. You're the one that should be
if
charged.
you're just like shy to tell girls that, oh, how much is it? So you can just like make a joke like, hey, John told me that one guy spent in this restaurant $7,000. Let's don't do that, okay? Let's just, if you don't want to be greedy, look greedy.
Right.
And you just want to be careful and say, hey, I don't want to spend $7,000 here, so let's just,
I think that's good advice, Tina. I think that's really good advice. All right. So share with us any of your examples, guys. I'd love to see it. All right, we're going to get into some of your questions here, and then we could talk about some of the other things as well. So I think it's Go Muget, I believe, but I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly. He says, hi, I remember a video of a social from Kyrgyzstan where John was replying to a lady who was complaining about how few men were there, which they always do, of course, that he wished there could have been more men. I now see the group tours are full very early, and I am sure many men find it frustrating not being able to participate in them. We don't need a 12 to 15 to 1 woman-men ratio. 5 to 1 is enough. So why don't you allow more men to participate in the group tours, and why don't you offer social-only services anymore? He's going to be in Kharkov with a friend in September, and they want to go to the social there. But talking with Anna, we just don't do the social-onlys right now. Where's the logic? Well, I can tell you where the logic is really simply. It's called COVID, and it's called trying to comply with the regulations that we still need to comply with when we do tours in different countries. We are a foreign company doing a tour in a foreign land, right? And so there are certain rules and regulations that we have to abide by, and some of those have to do as much as how many people in space per square meter and all this stuff that you guys have no clue about that we need to deal with. So you couple that with the pent up demand that we've had, and we just can't bring over 50 or 60 men at one time and have enough women and have a place big enough to do all that in a somewhat safe environment. Even what we're doing now, given what's going on with COVID, is still, I think, a little bit difficult, but we're trying our best to keep everybody safe. So until we get a little bit further past this pandemic, because people are saying post-pandemic, but we're not out of this. It's not really post-pandemic. We're still in the middle of it. From what I understood, there was just 100,000 new cases in the United States alone yesterday. So we're going right back to where we were, unfortunately. And I know a lot of it is politicized, and a lot of people don't believe in what's going on, and some people do. All I know is that I know several people have passed away from it, and we're trying to be as safe as we can for everybody. So yeah, we'd love to have going back to where we have social only guys coming and doing as many tour clients as we can to give everyone the chance. We'd love to do that, but we just can't do it right now. That's why we're not doing social only clients right now for the most part. Now sometimes there will be exceptions, and by the time September rolls around, if things ease up enough to where we're allowed to do that, then we'll certainly do it. It's not that we're against that. It's just that we have to be able to abide by what's out there, especially being a foreign country. I know there's some nightclubs and whatnot in the Ukraine that are just, like a big old concert. Everybody's right next to each other. But we're trying to be a little bit more careful in that, especially given our status when we travel over. Okay? So we'd love to have you. Believe me, it's not that I don't find it enjoyable to tell people, no, I'm sorry, we can't accommodate you on this particular
So how many
tour.
girls we have at the social now?
So at the last one that we had, I believe it was about 250 or so, and about 30 or so men, which is about a 6-to-1, 7-to-1 ratio. It's not 12-to-1 or 50-to-1 ratio. We're not doing that. But even with a 5-to-1 or 6-to-1, 7-to-1 ratio, you still can only have so many people. Then you have to count the staff. You have to count their staff, our staff, all this, interpreters, matchmakers. It adds up really, really quick. And when you're in the when you're doing the logistics of it and you're really planning it, it's difficult. It's just not easy to do. I wish it was different right now, but it's not. Casey wants to know, this is for you, Dina, okay? How do I know when a Slavic woman is falling in love with me? I'm a hopeless romantic, probably because I'm only 22, but I can never tell when a girl is into me. I'm clueless.
Slavic woman is no different than any female in this earth. So it's a body language, of course. It's her look. It's look in her eyes. If she likes you, she will give you her hand. Maybe she'll touch you. Like at the shoulder. Maybe give you a hug. It's no different. She'll be very nice, and she wanna meet you again and again, and she'll miss you. That's like no difference. With other girls, anywhere else.
Yeah, nonverbal language, body language, is stronger than spoken language. Someone can tell you "I love you," and you can see in their eyes that it's awful, right?
Right? Yeah.
Oh, I love you. No, you don't love me. I can tell you don't love me just by the way you said that, right? It's all about that nonverbal communication, like Dina's talking about. That look in your eye. That she really gives you that look. That's it. Or she flips her hair. Oh, that's a good sign, right? When the girl flipped this, come on, isn't it when they flipped her hair? There's something to that. I read that. So yeah, there you go. See what she just did? She's India. All right. So you can go on Google and whatnot. You're 22, you're young, look at some of that. Look at nonverbal communication. If she's sitting like this and her arms are crossed like this, she's talking to you like this, she's closed to you, right? And there's not. If she's open and she's moving in to listen to you, that's a good sign. That means she's open more to you in what she's saying. Those are just basic, but there's a lot to nonverbal communication. It's amazing. And if you can read that.
Don't worry, you will know. That's a very good, special feeling, and you will know. It's a chemistry also involved, so that's just very natural, and you will know.
That's why we tell guys, right, not to sit there and write letters forever, right? We don't want you being keyboard warriors and writing letters forever and ever. You want to go over and see, because there is something to that chemistry thing, right?
Absolutely,
yes. A woman knows within nanoseconds of meeting a man whether that man is a possibility or not. Would you agree to that?
Yes, absolutely, yes.
Yeah, especially if he's got shoes, like the good shoes. And Dina would.
That's only part of it, okay? It's not like a majority of so, but it's important too. How you look, it's important.
Absolutely. All right. So, Mark, hey Mark, how are you tonight? Mark wants to know, I wonder why they don't offer more tours in the Philippines since they have a 27-man cap on those tours. we're not offering more tours to the Philippines right now because you can't do any tours in the Philippines right now, Mark. You cannot get there. As a matter of fact, they just stiffened the rules on shutting down and quarantining everybody, right? Especially in Manila, but also in Cebu. So, you know, I can tell you right now that I would be shocked. I'd be the most shocked person around if we were able to do a tour this year to Asia, in general, anywhere in Asia. We're just not. I don't see a tour going to Asia at all this year. Next year, again, it depends on how this goes. I mean, we're seeing a resurgence of all this COVID, right? If it gets worse and worse over the winter, then it may be into mid next year before you're able to go to the Philippines or China or someplace. I just can't tell you. It's sad, but it's true. So I would not be doing a lot of letter writing and all that to the women there right now because you can't go right now. You're probably not going to be able to go for at least 6 months or so. So, I mean, that's just the reality of it right now. It's sad, but it's true. All right. Cassette wants to know if anyone here signed up for November in Kiev. Well, guys, that's a good point that he brings up because if you have not signed up yet for November in Kiev, due to what I was just talking about recently with that other gentleman's question about that November tour, there is still room on that tour. And the gentleman that was talking about that, how he's going to be over there, you can join the tour right now. It's not sold out. And so there is time to get on that tour if you'd like to do the tour. So yes, you can get on that tour right now, but again, it probably will sell out. I've been saying this all year, and all year we've been selling out virtually every tour that we've done. So I would tell you that that November tour is probably not going to be any different, and it probably will sell out before the end of August. So if I were you, I would get on that tour, at least with my $475 deposit, and just have a place there so that, you know, if you think you might want to go, that's fine. If not, it'll roll over to the next one, so it's not a problem. Okay, Dave says, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Dave. You know, Dave, you cleaned up well. I saw you in that video there. He looked good, didn't he?
Oh, yes, very good.
Yeah.
Yes, you, very nice.
Dapper, yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, Jesse wants to know when is the next meeting?
What meeting?
That was my question. I thought maybe you knew.
I think maybe those seminars.
Ah, the seminars. Good question. You know, I was hoping to start to do some more in the fall, but now with COVID coming back here in the States, it looks like, unfortunately, I'm not sure we're going to be able to do them again this year. I don't know if we'll do any more this year or not. I would love, especially over on the East Coast in the fall, I'd love to get over there and do a few. I'd love to get over to California to do some. Texas, we love Texas. Can't wait to get back to Texas, especially Dallas, Addison, some of you know why. So I'd love to do it, but until until this thing kind of dies down a little bit, I'm not sure we're going to be doing a lot of traveling and doing those seminars and bringing everybody together in a small room, you know, for 4 or 5 hours where we're all kind of right on top of each other. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense. Okay, Melvin says, good evening, gents. Good evening, Timothy. Hello. Anthony says, I'm glad Joe finally found someone. We hope. We're all hoping. We say our prayers about that with Joe.
He's so picky, guys.
He is. Joe's picky. He was just in here today. We were talking about that. I always give him a hard time. So. All right. James says, hi, Dina and John. I'm going to go on that November tour. That's fantastic, awesome. James. Congratulations. And not only is he going on the tour, but he's gotten a personal trainer to get in shape. I want to work on my dancing, though. What type of dancing should I work on for being in the Ukraine?
Just a regular dance. I mean, no salsa, no rumba, nothing extreme. Just a regular dance move, like when couple dancing together. Mm-hmm. Sure, just a classic, nothing extreme. And some moves, maybe like, you know, single moves.
Come on, Dina, show us some moves, Dina. Come on, get up there. You're starting to do some of the moves. Now she's showing.
Oh, she's going to show it to a girl, but you guys, you'll be fine.
You know, we had a client once, James, who he probably, you know, you don't have to go to some of these really expensive dance schools, but he went, wait a minute. If you guys are seeing what I'm seeing double right now. We have twins, okay? Twins at the social, and they're wearing the exact same outfits. And I'm thinking, this is just not fair.
They're very pretty. Look at them.
They're very pretty, but they're almost identical. They are identical. And so if you're talking to one, and then maybe they switch name tags. I mean, there could be some really interesting things going on there with the twins. That's hilarious. You know, in Curacao, we used to have triplets years ago that were members of the service. And I remember being on a double date with two of the triplets and the guys, and it was really interesting. But twins, that's fun. That's great. Gotta love it.
You guys had fun there. Oh.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, James. As far as the dancing thing goes, there was a client some time ago. He went to one of the higher end dancing schools, but he learned the whole really, like Dean was saying, the classic dancing moves where you do the frame and you move the girl around and everything, and you really take control of her. He was really a hit because the girls really enjoyed a man with confidence when it came to dancing and could actually do the traditional kind of dancing and show them, take charge, be in the lead, and do the frame and everything. I don't know how to dance. Tanya will tell you I'm terrible, but he did an amazing job, and it really worked for him. I mean, the women were like lining up to dance with this guy. So I highly recommend, if you're fun with that, if you find that fun, to go take the lessons, and it will boost your confidence amazingly, and the women will love it because they like being thrown around the dance floor and this and that and twisted and blah. Yeah, it's a blast. Yeah, it's good. It's good. All right. Stephen says, "Good morning, everybody. 1:30 in the a.m. here in the UK." Oh, we got people in the UK. That's so cool.
Right.
This is international TV over here. I'm telling you, it's wonderful. I'm glad that you waited up to watch live. Any questions you have, Stephen? We'd be more than happy. That seminar we did a couple summers ago in the UK was fantastic. I still have a parking ticket from there I never paid. Those I'm afraid to go back because they'll probably arrest me. I don't know what the laws are. I'll have to research. Okay, moving on. Dave says, "Hi, John and Dina. Can you talk about the importance of good fragrance? Smelling good is just as important as shoes." What do you think about that, Dina?
Well, that's so unique to everybody, and if you never used it before, don't start. Just a fresh smell body, it's perfectly fine with deodorant, because if you go in a nightclub, usually they don't have air conditioning, I mean, not so much air conditioning, and put deodorant on and just take a shower before you go, fresh clothes, and you'll be fine. If you use some perfume, some girls, their nose is really sensitive. So in Russia, in Ukraine, guys like perfume and they use, but they could be completely different from here in America. So I won't recommend put any perfume. And then maybe if you go on the second date with her, maybe you can put a little bit and see if she likes that.
See, that's why we have Dina. That's good advice. I wouldn't have thought about that.
Yeah, because I remember AJ put a really expensive perfume, but it was not good for my nose. So,
that was the first date?
Yeah, no, it wasn't first date. I think like maybe his second trip.
Oh, his second trip. He went and got the really good cologne to bring over. Huh?
I think he had it. He had it.
Oh, he had it? Okay.
And it was one of those expensive Hermes, if you know that brand, and it was too much, And it's maybe good for your nose, but could be good for somebody else's. So or maybe little tiny bit,
I could see that. Okay. Yeah. Because your chances of offending people might be more than making someone like it, right?
Yeah, so, maybe the girl who you really like, she might have allergies. A lot of people I know just have allergy in this time. I don't know why, but just be careful with that.
Mark wants to know when a letter is sent or our call schedule, you're able to exchange contact information. Thanks, Mark. So that whole thing with IMBRA and everything prevents us from exchanging contact information easily. There's a lot of steps we have to go through to do it. So if the woman is okay before she meets you in exchanging contact information, then we can go through the process of having her sign the IMBRA form and do all that. And there is a charge for that, but we can do that if she's okay with it. Normally, they would rather meet in person before the exchange for a lot of different reasons, which I'm not going to go into now because we're not going to have a lot of time to do that. But you can call, we can talk about it.
That's probably the most popular question I have during the day, and most unhappy answer they want to hear, because there is a charge for that, because a lot of people involved and you guys go on your own, and we charge for that. Yeah.
Well, plus, look.
But not all girls like that, because they have to speak, if they don't never speak English, they have to use translator, have time to translate it, and they don't like it. They like to use agency.
They get support from the agency. They get a lot of help from the agency, and there's a little bit of a buffer in there for them too. They can go on other sites. They can go, and you can go on other sites, right? You can go where it's direct, like that thing with Tinder that gentleman used, and then ended up with a $7,000 bill. You can do that. You can go direct, But then a lot of times the women find that the reason they come to us is that they get harassed. They get all kinds of weird, unwanted photos. They get all this stuff that happens from men that are never, ever, ever going to get on a plane and come and see them. Yet they have to deal with all this stuff. You know, Friday, where are you? How come you didn't call me back? What's going on?
Yeah.
You know, it's direct. Or if they gave them their phone number, oh my gosh, now they're blowing up their phone. And they never even met yet.
And some guys never can figure out time difference, and then she's sleeping and you're texting, and it just could be desire. We recommend not to write anyway to her before you meet her, you know, maybe a couple letters. And when you meet her, she will sign that IMBRA form at the meeting.
Right.
And then you can have her information.
Direct. Yeah. And then that's a great way to do it. You should not be spending tons of time, effort, and money writing letters back and forth. You should only do it really with a plan, a judicious plan, so that, you know, oh, I'm going to be over in a month. Okay, well, I'll write to a few women, let them know I'm coming, and if they like to meet, that kind of thing. But, you know, to sit there and write that the sky is blue today and all that, and constantly back and forth, you know, unless you really just want that for your end product, and that's where you're going to get your enjoyment and satisfaction from. Well, then I guess. But if you really want to use it to meet someone, then don't sit there and write. I had someone that was writing for years and years. 7 years one time. No, you should not be doing that for 7 years. Okay. Patrick says, it was a great trip. Oh, fantastic, Patrick. I think he's one of the guys who just got back from the Ukraine. So that's great. We got a lot of really good testimonials from the guys that got back from the Ukraine. The guys are working on that right now. Actually, all this footage you're seeing right now, this is never before seen footage. Is that right, guys? Never before seen? Yeah, pretty much never before seen. But I think it's all pretty much new footage from the last tours that we've just completed, right? So nice, fresh, new footage just from the tours that we did. It's fantastic. All right. And Chris says, thanks for the shout out, Dina. I'm looking forward to see my interview with Anna.
Yeah. Hi, Chris.
Cool. Oh, you were just talking about Chris.
He said he made an interview with Anna, and he was going to look forward to see it.
But yeah, it's just these guys, they have so much content right now. They're working on it, but they're going to get that up here soon, I'm sure. Thank you, Chris, for doing that, by the way. And guys, just a quick shout out to you guys that are on the tour, like what Chris did. He did an interview talking about his experience, I guess. I haven't seen it yet, but I guess he did that from what he just said with Anna while he was in the Ukraine. I can't tell you how valuable that is for other guys that are thinking about doing this. And if you put yourself in those guys' shoes before you went over, you probably looked at several of the videos from guys that went, and they were talking about how they didn't lose a kidney, or how they were, okay. Well, come on. Some of these guys worry about those things. And you can see that, oh, well, this guy did it. Oh, he's still alive. Oh, okay, he survived. And it made you feel more comfortable about you doing it. Well, now, Chris, you're helping that. You're kind of paying back a little bit, and you're saying, or paying it forward, however you want to say it. We're paying it forward, right? And you're helping other men to make that critical decision of, should I go or shouldn't I, right? And so it's wonderful that you do that, because I can't tell you how many guys are just afraid to do it. They never tell us exactly why. They're just afraid. I mean, do you see
because
that?
Somebody tell them that it's a scam, they're going to use you for your money or green card, that's a lot of, and maybe family even, but, they're worried about the poor guy, can get scammed. And of course, it's important, to hear from the same guys that they were okay and even found somebody,
right?
And live happy.
Right. Okay, Ron says, I've seen bills, because I want to see more of these. Any time you've ever been taken advantage of as far as overseas?
Guys took your advices and never been scammed.
That didn't happen, right? Yeah, I like
nice
that.
It
I think
Good job, guys.
Because it could be an overpriced tax. That's happened to me, where I come back to Phoenix late at night and I get in a cab and I tell the guy where to go. And he's taking me like the totally different way, roundabout way. I'm like, no. Let's go this way and save about $10, that kind of stuff. Gabe says, Ron says, I've seen bills from politician dinners being $7,000 and more. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely possible, but that's a little different because you're contributing to the dinner or the politician's campaign or whatever, supposedly. Gabe says, bottle service in Vegas is $7,000 for sure. Wow. See, I haven't been to Vegas. I don't go to those kind of places. I've never, Well, if you're paying $7,000 in Vegas for bottle service, I guess it's possible. Anthony says, there's no reason to treat women as something above your pay grade. Yeah, I agree. Because where are you going to go from there, right? If you're just trying to impress someone and you're taking her out to the most expensive places just to get her to like you for that, to me, it's not real. It's not sincere. You know, I don't think you should do that. I think you should be who you are. Be real. I mean, you know, you want to impress and take her someplace nice, but I'm talking about like all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, impress her with good dancing.
There you
with
go.
Good shoes. You know, with good attitude, with a smile. You know, that they will more appreciate it for that.
Sean says 7,000 is impossible in the Ukraine. Well, according to this
That's
restaurant,
what
it
I
was
said,
possible.
but you know,
they didn't.
might be possible.
Yeah. Well, I think what he's saying is that, yeah, unless it's some kind of weird thing, it's really not possible. Now, there might be some really, really expensive places in Kiev where you could actually do that. And a bottle, you know, if you go order, I was at a dinner once in Russia, in St. Petersburg, with two of our clients, and they took Tanya out to dinner, and they really wanted to just do everything. They ordered everything, and I think the bill was like $2,500 because they were ordering the really expensive bottle of wine, champagne, but they knew exactly what they were doing, and they wanted to do that. So you can spend that kind of money if you really want to. It's when you don't have any clue that it's happening.
Yeah, that's
a problem.
worst.
Yeah. Okay. A woman in Odessa had planned to take me to her scam restaurant, but I refused. When I took her to my restaurant, she made sure she asked for the most expensive thing on the menu. Nice. Well, hopefully you didn't take her out again. Yeah. Anthony says, if you ask a girl on a date, it's your job to figure out where to go. It shouldn't get to that point. And, you know, Anthony, I totally agree with that, too. And I think when you're in a foreign country and you ask a woman out and you say, look, I have this great place I want to take you to, all of a sudden that makes you look like you're in control. And
Yeah.
women like that. They want you to be confident, right?
Yeah, yeah, and you can ask, you ever been there? What? Let's go try it out. You mean, yeah.
Gabe says, got to take her to a minimalist type place, like a struggling coffee shop. Well, I mean, look, you don't want to probably take her to McDonald's, but like a cool little local cafe that's a little coffee shop or something. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely not. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you have up to 3 dates a day, we
adds
decided
up.
it's impossible with Joe last Monday. So, and if you have those, yes, you probably want to have one girl at least for the coffee. Yeah.
Mark says, John, answering my spoke question, I've never been overcharged with any dating that I have done. Well, that's good, Mark. And you know what? And I think most of the men will say that they have not. You know, this happens, I think, rarely, but it does happen. And that's why we bring it up, because it's possible that it can happen. Is it the norm? No. You know, it doesn't happen every time. It doesn't happen even every other time. But it can happen once in a while, and you don't want to be the guy that gets shocked and surprised.
Yeah, important thing to get a menu in front of you and just look. Or at least check what is there.
Let's see here. Patrick says, everywhere overcharges. I bought flowers for my dates in Odessa. One day it was $280, another it was $330. The pre-made arrangements with 2 times the flowers were only $400. Yeah, but that's not so bad. That's not like $7,000. And we're talking. By the way, when he says $280, $330, we're talking hryvnia, right? So that's not too bad at all. But yeah. Eric says, guys just need to make decisions on the date plan. Too often, our guys think they should allow the date to flow to the finest restaurants. Yeah, you don't need to go to the finest soup to nuts type restaurants. You really don't. Steven says, typical scam at Itaka in Odessa. Yeah, it can be. Neil says this would, or N, I thought it was Neil, this would have been way worse if he had a $7,000 bill from McDonald's. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen to you at McDonald's. Something tells me we're okay. Not Ronald McDonald. Patrick says, be careful when you do go over and listen to the staff, as I listened to the Philippine staff, and that worked for me, of course. Melvin says, yes, I got overcharged during my first tour to Kyiv 5 years ago. I paid almost $150 for what should have been a $50 meal. Fortunately, Joe and Anna were able to recoup the overpay. Yes, good job, Joe and Anna, 5 years ago. See, that's what I talked about. This isn't anything new. This kind of has been going on forever. We've been helping our clients deal with it for a long time. Even back in the days in St. Petersburg, when we did the group tours and everything there, Dina.
20 years ago.
20 years ago. Tanya and I went around to restaurants and we made a coupon book, right? That we gave to our guys, and when they went to these certain restaurants in the coupon book that we printed for our guys, our own AFA coupon book, it would give them discounts at those restaurants. So not only did those restaurants not ever try to take advantage of them, they actually got like a free glass of wine with the meal, or 20% off or something like that. We told them, look, we'll send our guys and tell them this route because it was a good restaurant, and we'll recommend this to our guys, but then you give us something back. This is the opposite of what some of these Ukrainian restaurants are doing now, right? So yeah. And I'll tell you guys, we've had some of these restaurants from Ukraine email me and ask us to have them removed from our blacklist. Oh, we've changed now. It was new management. It was this. It was that. And it's like, okay, well, we'll see. Prove it to us before we're going to change that. All right. Let's see here. He says, thanks for your answer, John. I understand the COVID situation limits the number of people at the socials, but why don't you just invite less women in order to allow more men to participate? Plus, it must be really frustrating for the women to see such few men as are compared to them. Well, we're already playing with that, but we're still bringing over like 30 men, which is quite a few men, right? So, and some of those even went a little bit more than 30. So if we had, 60 women, 90 women with 30 men, that's tough. That's not what we're known for. I mean, that's not what we do. That's not what you guys are wanting us to do for the most part. You want, and I think you should have some more of a choice, more numbers, and the women too, right? So we're trying to bring as many women as possible, but we're also trying to give everyone the opportunity to meet everyone. So by bringing more women, that allows the women to have more opportunity to meet the men and all that. It's just a silly, strange situation right now that we're kind of in, and it is tougher. It really is. Eric says, yes, I've been on many Latin tours. Sure, I got steered a few times, but I learned quick. Well, that's good. Let's see. It's embarrassing to admit that I've been writing letters to one woman for so long, but when I had to set up life around me and reach a comfortable lifestyle, it's worth it. Yeah, look, Timothy, I'm not here, Timothy, to beat anybody up about writing. I mean, I get that. It's a nice connection to have. It's all that. But I really want you to go over and meet in person. And we're about the only company out there when it comes to any kind of correspondence or anything like that that tells you this day in and day out almost, right? Constantly. Hey, guys, if you're going to write, do it with a plan. But the better plan is to go over and meet in person and be one of these guys you see in the video right now that are out there. Yeah, dancing. See the guy? Do you like the guy dancing?
Yeah,
those
that's
good moves?
very nice. Yeah,
Dina
nice.
likes it. She's saying it's good.
Girl
See?
enjoying it.
Girls enjoying it, yeah.
Don't be shy, guys. Go have fun.
Yeah, go do it. It's so much better than writing. You could write, that's fine, but it's so much better than writing when you go over and meet in person. There's no more translators involved. There's no more of that. It's just you and her, right? Eye contact, you're talking, you're going back and forth, and you just know it right then and there, like I did with Tanya. It just happened, right? She was at the other side of the room, I'm over here, and boom, it just happened. That would have happened with a letter, okay? There was chemistry there. And there was champagne there, which helped too. You don't get champagne in letters, and that really does help a little bit. Okay. That's what I thought we're going to get to that one. Duck. God, I love this. You guys are really participating in all these questions. That's what this forum is about, right? It's for you guys to do, and I think it's great. We just want to get to all of these, and now we're running out of time again. And then we got the union problem, and I get yelled at and all that. All right, Joe says, I'm going to go to Kyiv in September myself, and I'll probably be on Tinder because the tours are sold out. All right, now you're trying to make me feel guilty, right? Okay, fine. Look, we do have the club, and you can go, if the tour's already sold out. But I've been warning you guys for months that these tours are going to sell out, right? So, but anyways, and I'm warning you about November. It's going to sell out. You see me saying this right now?
Yeah.
Write it down somewhere. I said on August 2nd that November tour is going to sell out by the end of August. Oh, let's see what happens at the end of August.
That's amazing tour, guys. You don't have to travel. It's only one city, 2 socials in one city. November, nice, not so hot,
And you'll get a turkey out of it.
Tour.
I think they cook a turkey because it's the Thanksgiving tour.
Oh.
It's not a very good turkey by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a turkey. Where was I? Oh, yeah. So if you can't make the group tour, you can do a Euro club. So you don't have to go use Tinder. You can still go over, you can do a club, and you can be there for 7 days, and they'll do wonderful introductions for you. You'll have everything except the socials, right? Which I love the socials. But if you can't get on because it's sold out, and guys, this isn't the first time we sold out tours. We've been selling out tours for years, off and on. We're just selling out more and more because of the pent-up demand and the limited spaces that we have. That's the reason why it's happening so much right now. All right. Sean says, if they don't want to change the model they've been using so long, even if some women feel underwhelmed. Well, again, it's 26 years of doing this, and it's worked really well. Because what the women do understand, when there's many more women than there are men at these events, this is our model, and it's something that we're proud of because it's worked so well, and it's helped to bring about thousands of marriages. That when I talk to women, when I'm there, and they say, "Oh, John, I wish there was more men. There are so many women. I wish there were less women." I say, "That's fine. Next time, tell you what, we'll invite half the number of women, right? And we'll only have maybe a 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 ratio of women to men. Would that be good?" She's like, "Yeah, that would be good." I say, "Okay, fine. Now, what I want you to do is look around the room and tell me who not to invite next time. Should I not invite her and not give her the opportunity? Should I not invite her? Or maybe I should not invite you and not give you the opportunity to come to an event like this and quickly possibly make eye contact with a man that you feel there might be a connection with, like I did with my wife, Tanya, right? When there was an 8-to-1, 9-to-1 ratio of women to men at that social. And then the women understand, like, you're right, at least everybody gets a chance. I said, yeah, at least everyone gets a chance. And that's what we try to do, is we try to give everyone the opportunity, the possibility, and it's worked really, really well. There's other ways you guys can do it. I mean, if this is something you don't feel works well for you, if you don't like to have these kind of numbers and this kind of opportunity, then there's other possibilities that you have out there. But this has worked really well for us. Okay. Let me keep going here. Duck, duck. This is great, you guys. I love the questions that you're giving us here tonight. Never Say Never says, for the single tour, if women I like are in Kyiv and Kharkov, how does the transportation work? Well, if you're doing the Kyiv and Kharkov tour, you're going to be taking a train or a bus in between the two, right? So, you're going to go to both cities. And the transportation is either going to be a train or a bus. Depends on the tour and the time of year and all that, and on what we decide to do. Gabe says, tell me more about this Euro Club. Well, we don't have a whole lot of time to go into it, but basically, in a nutshell, it's 3 introductions a day for 7 days a week, up to 3 introductions a day for 7 days, or 10 days or 14 days. And we try to do up to 3 intros a day. You give us a list of 20 or 30 women that you'd like to meet. And the hospital outside of the socials where we're setting up dates for you one-on-one. So it's just one-on-one. You're there, no group, no socials. And it works really well too. We've had lots of marriages from the Euro Club. So if you don't like the idea of the socials, then the Euro Club might be perfect for you. Okay. Talk, talk. McKissick says, if I go on a tour, will I have ample opportunities to meet women besides those at the socials? What do you think? So he's asking, will you have a chance to meet other women other than the socials?
Yes, you guys have plenty of time. Of course, on those tours with several cities, it's difficult because you have to go. But I think in November tour, when it's only one city, Kyiv, I think it's the first time we're having one city for the tour.
We've done it before. We did it in Poltava once with the one city. And in all of our other tours in Latin America and Asia are always one city.
And it's November. All girls is there because vacation is over. And it's a great opportunity if you want to go to social and then meet your girls. You'll have plenty of time at this tour. But I think when it's like several cities, you go, and it's a little difficult to date after social. But you can also stay longer, and our staff can help you to stay longer if you meet the girl, of your dream. And you can come back to Kyiv and stay longer and meet with her.
Absolutely.
After tour.
And Wallace says, pretty soon John's only going to be able to do seminars in Texas and Florida if these lockdowns keep up. Probably, because Texas and Florida probably won't be doing lockdowns. California is going to be tougher and tougher. Yeah. Although I really like Texas and Florida. Those are two great places for us to go. And of course, they got the world's best veal parmesan in Texas. I won't go into that again, but I'm just telling you. Michael says, due to COVID, us Asian lovers I know Asia's been so difficult. I mean, at least Latin America we were able to sneak in some tourists, not so much Peru, but Costa Rica and Colombia, and in Eastern Europe, Ukraine. But Asia, they just shut down Asia hard. Us Asian lovers have no choice but to be keyboard romantics. It would be nice to get a discounted cost on letter writing during this pandemic. Well, Michael, what you can do is a couple things. Number one, because you're not going to be able to travel over so much, I would really recommend not writing so much and cutting back on the writing. I know you want to go back and forth, stay in touch, but you can stay in touch with a lot less letters and just let them know, hey, look, it might be 6 months before we can even meet. So we should probably slow down a little bit on the correspondence. And secondly, if you put the funds on your account in the right way, you can get great discounts. It's built in, right? So you can get 10, 15% discounts by just putting the money on the right way. And then you get tour credits as well. So when it does open up and you go on the tour, you could get a great discount on the tour. Some guys have gotten free tours from that too. So yeah, we do give you a lot of different discounts. But I'd rather see you just slow it down a little bit. All right, let's keep going here. Oscar says, hello, John. Says Oscar, the nurse from Tennessee. Why do they check the temperature of these socials on the hands to the forehead? Is it different in the Ukraine, or is it because ladies do not want the device pointed at their forehead?
I think they're done with coronavirus, and are they doing it or not?
Yeah, they are doing it, and they were doing it on the wrist.
Oh, on the wrist. Okay. I think
because
it's the same, no?
Yeah, it is the same. It's going to give you the same reading, and it's fine from what I understand, at least. And I think it is, Oscar. I think it's a little less invasive there than pointing at the forehead, like feel like you're getting shot with a gun or something. So it's a little less invasive. Like, hey,
Yeah.
so yeah, I don't know. That's my guess. I saw that too. Yeah.
I didn't pay attention, so I thought they're done and not even.
No, they're still doing it.
Oh, okay.
Although I don't think you always have a temperature when you have COVID. You can be contagious. I don't know.
I know.
You know, so
What
I
if
don't
you
know if
don't
that
have
really,
it? What's
yeah.
the point?
Well, because if you really are sick, you probably do have a temperature, then you shouldn't be going in.
Yeah.
Tim says, when travel to China resumes, I would like to visit. Does AFA assist obtaining a China visa? Do we
I think
assist
China is closed right now in this visa or not. I mean,
Right.
at the moment.
Well, he's saying when it opens
But
up
I don't
again.
think it's really hard to get visa in China. I mean, never heard issues.
It's not too
I
difficult.
think it's online and
Yeah.
or even in a border. I'm not sure, but
You can do it at the border,
It's
but
really
you should
easy.
probably do it before you go over. And if you email Anna here, she'll tell you where to go online to get the visa. There's a few sites that we can recommend to you. So we don't really assist in getting the visa, but we can assist you in getting someone who will assist you. Let's put it that way, right? Okay. It's not hard though. Alpha says, can foreign affair help men find an apartment in Ukraine if they wish to stay for 2 to 3 months? Absolutely. Matter of fact, you're going to see in the next week or two, I say that optimistically, but you'll see a real estate site up just for Ukraine that will assist with men with that kind of thing, renting, but also for purchasing. We have a lot of clients that go over, fall in love with the country, want to buy an apartment. And buying an apartment in a foreign country is sometimes an adventure and a challenge. It's a lot different than here. They don't have title companies and escrow and things like that like we do here. In many of the different countries, they do it a lot differently. I remember one of my first experiences buying a piece of property in a foreign country. You had to have this bag of money with you, basically a bag of cash, and you just brought it to the closing, and it was just boom, boom, boom. They had a money counting machine there and everything. It was really strange the way they did it. So we're going to help people who want to purchase apartments and things like that. If you want to, we've had a lot of people ask for that assistance, so we might as well have a website that will give you more information on that. And if you want just to rent for a couple months, they'll help you with that too. Eric says, if you meet a woman on a tour, just Google local restaurants before the date, read reviews, find a nice pizza joint, then tell your girl you have a nice Italian restaurant for her. Yeah, that's good, Eric. And plus, we're going to give you a list of restaurants with price points and everything at the different cities you go to. So you'll have a lot of good information. I love this by N. Wallace here. I was talking about the twins a minute ago. He said, the only problem with twins is you'll have to buy 2 Gucci bags instead of 1. That's pretty funny. That is funny. Gabrielle says, no perfume, question mark? You're saying no, right?
I say no. It's social, when it's so many people there, it could be overwhelmed. But the next day when you meet with her, maybe a little bit of perfume and see what she say about it.
Okay, we're going to start going a little faster because we're just about out of time now. So Brian wants to know, hi John Dean, is it safe to travel to Mexico City, Mexico? There's a Mexican girl who wants to meet me. Do you have to be vaccinated to travel to Mexico or just a negative COVID test? As far as the travel, I think you just need a negative COVID test. You do not, as far as I know, you don't have to be vaccinated to travel anywhere, as far as I know right now. But you do need a negative COVID test, I do believe, to go to Mexico. Dina, what do you think about safety in travel to Mexico City?
I think it's pretty safe. There are a lot of people going there, but just stay in the resort, because I think the meeting somewhere in the resort, right? It's
Yeah.
Playa del Carmen or
Well, it's
Cancun?
Mexico City. No, this is Mexico City.
Oh, it's in Mexico City. Yeah, be careful. I'm not sure about that.
Mexico City is a huge, huge place, and so you do want to be careful. But if you follow the advice and you be careful and think about the things we tell you, you'll be fine. David wants to know: is China opening for a social this year?
No.
Yeah, I would agree with Dina.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Mark wants to know, John, that is why I want to put in my open reservation so I can commit to going over. Yeah, Mark, just do it. $475, and it is open. Sean says, John, that about letter writing sounds good and all, but most guys get caught up writing letters for months or end just to be completely disappointed in the end. Happens, right? That's why I tell guys not to write for months, right? You don't need to write for months. Now I've seen guys who've written for months that get married too, right? So it can work both ways. But it all depends on what happens when you meet, is that physical chemistry. So
yeah, guys, if you write her a year and then you meet and the chemicals there, so you go and get married, right? Or, it'll be everything good. Or you wrote her one letter and then the chemicals here there too, so it's, you just, waste a lot of money.
Right, it's just so much better to go over and meet. Alpha Omega says, twins can be double trouble? Absolutely. Dave says, John, I'm chatting with Chris. We have a bet whose interview will be aired first. That's pretty funny. That's all in the editing room hands. We have nothing to do with that. Mark says, John, when the time comes, I want to go to a seminar to give my story on what happened. Mark, we get that almost every seminar, too. A guy will come and share that with us. Chris says, I did get scammed on my first date in Odessa 2 years ago on the July tour and almost had my glasses pickpocketed in Kyiv after the tour when I was on my date, but I got them back. Well, that's good, Chris. Yeah, you got to be careful. Mark says, John, I want to give a shout out to Michelle. She's a big help when I had a question about that open reservation. Good. Sean says, my bill came up to be about $210 in Odessa because the woman had planned it all along, and I think they had some sort of deal with the waiter at the restaurant. The most I was expecting was about $80. Yeah, I mean, that's what we're talking about, and that's why you got to be careful. If you ever think that's a problem and you're with us, just call the office manager. Call them before you leave the restaurant, no matter what time it is. She's gotten calls at 2 in the morning. Call, and she will help to go over it, and she'll step by step go over it, just make sure. Oliver says, John, thanks so much for being on tonight. I love listening to you. Well, thank you, Oliver. We appreciate you. Give us hope. Still waiting for Peru to open up. Oh, you're hoping for Peru. Yeah, Peru might still be a little bit of a while. We did have a client there recently that was doing the club in Peru, but he had to quarantine for like 10 days when he got there. So if you're willing to do that, you can get there, but you still got to quarantine. But thank you so much, Oliver. Appreciate it. Gerald says, it seems that photography is so much better in Ukraine compared to the other tour places AFA goes. I don't know what to say to that. We try to get good photography everywhere. Maybe we're using, well, I don't know, it's hard to say exactly why that is, but could be, Gerald. Mark says, I think if you are in a foreign country and you want to take your date out to a restaurant and don't know where to go, don't ask the woman, ask the staff. Absolutely. Brian says, I have a question about how do you contact and meet a few of the Latin women from Mexico on your website? Do you think that you will ever do a tour there? Okay, I'll take the second part. I'll give Dina the first part. The second part is just start looking for that 2022 tour schedule in about 2 weeks, and then we'll talk. That's all I'll say. You say, what about how do you contact and meet women from Mexico?
So you have to send us email and we will give you other email. I just don't remember her email. There is a manager in Mexico who will arrange all your dates, and just email us or give us a call, and we'll give you that email who you have to contact in Mexico.
And Patrick is saying, these guys saying bring more men and less women have never been to a social. Yeah, probably not. Look, we've been doing this for a long time, like I said, and it's just the way that we think it's best for the women and the men. And sometimes guys, well, what do you mean? I mean, there's so many more women. Yeah, like I said earlier, it gives everyone the opportunity. These guys, it's not easy to get on a plane, fly halfway around the world and be there. And they can only meet so many women one-on-one. And they're only going to be there for maybe 10 days, 2 weeks at the most, right? And so very, very little time. So many women. We want to give everybody that opportunity to have that quick connection. Dina and I were talking a little bit before the show about that, and I said to Dina, do you think it's true? Because I've read where a woman can look at a man and know within nanoseconds almost whether or not that man is a possibility for her.
It says 7 to 10 seconds.
Yeah,
yeah,
and
that's only enough for her to see if she. I mean, it's not like she decides. Yes, that's my, second half. No, it just give her, take her to next step where she want to know you more.
But you can dismiss somebody in 7 to 10 seconds pretty quickly, right? Like
yes.
no, this is not going to work for me, right?
Absolutely.
I mean,
yeah. I don't know. It's guys different, right? They need more time,
right.
and they decide. But the girls much easier.
Yeah. And so, guys, when you look at it, you do the math. If a woman's in that room and there's, I don't know, 300, 400 women and 30, 40 guys, okay, that woman is looking at you guys, right? And those women are looking at you, and they're knowing which men, and probably there's just a handful that might interest her, and they know like that. And so it's really interesting the way this all works. I mean, I've watched it for years, and I see it. I see guys that will go over with a laundry list of all these things the woman must have, right? College education, no kids, this, and they marry the exact opposite of their laundry list because of what? Chemistry. Because boom, it happened, and they didn't care if she had 10 kids. Wouldn't have mattered. They were done. And that's how these things work. Now, not all the time. You're not always going to have that chemistry all the time. It's just, I don't know. It's so hard to explain. You got to go. You got to do it. Timothy says, I totally will fly over. 2020 was the plan to, but COVID made it go out the window. Yeah, I know, Timothy. It's been a pain. Ernie says, good evening, John and Dina. John, did you get my message? Ernie, I don't know if I got your message. Leonard from Thailand, our manager of Thailand, says, the first thing I heard on the show this morning was great to hear from the UK. Thanks, John. Well, it wasn't you, Leonard, but it is always wonderful to hear you. Leonard is also from the UK. Sorry about that little soccer match there, Leonard, but we'll talk about that later. Anyways, seriously, all our male clients received an approved list of AFA Thailand restaurants, coffee shops, bars. By far, the best indication is that in Thailand, a good girl will scan your bill, known as check bin here, and more often than not, the bill goes down. Jane is lethal on this stuff. Yeah. So, they should be helping you to make sure that they're not overcharging you when you're at the restaurant, and that's what they do in Thailand, which is great. I've never really heard any problems, though, in Thailand at all with something like this. It seems to be, unfortunately, starting a little bit more in the Ukraine than anywhere else that we go. You don't really hear about it in Colombia or China or places like that. It's really pretty much more in the Ukraine, as far as we're concerned, what I'm seeing at least. Gerald said, when can we expect that 2022 schedule to come out? We are working on it as we do this show, even. As I speak, we're working on it. I'm hoping that it's out. My goal was to have it out by the end of this week. I don't know if we'll get that or not, but it'll either be the end of this week or next week. It'll be up and out. Tom says, how much does it cost when I sign up? I want to do this. How much does it cost when well, it depends what you sign up for, Tom.
Yeah, I think he's mentioned about tour, maybe.
Well, the tours are going to vary. Anywhere from about $2,400 to $3,600, $3,700, depending on where you're going, how long you're staying, all that. If you were talking about the club, that's about $1,200, $1,300, something like that. So yeah. DGS says, I live in Scottsdale, Arizona. What's the best way to come see you at your office? Just come on down. We're here every day, and it's not hard. Just you might want to call. If you want to meet me, maybe you might want to call to make sure I'm around. I'm in and out sometimes. But you can come in and talk to Dina or talk to anyone here. We're happy to see you. Give us a call first, maybe, just to make sure whoever you want to see is available. And then come on in. We'd love to see you. Scottsdale's right up the street. Not far. And says, John, what if the convo with the girl at the social is going down like a Leonard Skinner plane? Can we arrange like a hand signal for you to swoop in and rescue? You know, this is so funny you say this because we were just talking about a code between the man and his matchmaker. So if things are going poorly and you're on like one, and you say something like, popcorn is something I don't like to eat or something like that. As soon as that woman hears popcorn, your guide with you, right, your matchmaker or translator, she will promptly get you up and out, right? It's like your escape plan, popcorn. Or ice cream might be like a really good thing, and if she says ice cream, then you're staying longer, although at the socials you want to move around a lot anyway, you should be moving quite a bit. But if you're on a one-on-one date, like out somewhere, and it's going really, really poorly, then having a code word like that is good. And then you politely get out of it. You think that's bad?
No, awesome. The professional,
that?
very professional.
Yeah.
It's like a spy school there.
Well, you never want to hurt anyone's feelings, right? You always want to treat people with respect. These women, I have so much respect
I wonder
for
if
them.
girls have that code.
Oh, the girls have codes too. I know they do. and yeah, if you hear a girl say popcorn, be careful. But
it's different.
it might be
Person.
different. It might be the same.
I
don't know.
cannot even remember already. Different. The word or is the same word. Trying to translate it.
That's funny, yeah. Leonard says, for the Asian Lover poster, our first client arrives in Phuket Sandbox model on 2nd September. Bangkok should be back to normal October 1st. Let's hope so. Leonard, let's hope so.
Yeah.
Joe says, I just came from Mexico City. You don't need anything to go over there, but you need a test to get back. Well, thank you, Joe.
Okay.
So you don't need anything to go over, but you need a test to come back. And obviously you got back alive, so it wasn't that dangerous. So that's good. Good job, Joe. And we are done with the questions, and not that bad for overtime. Dina, is there anything you'd like to leave the guys with tonight? Any advice? Anything?
Yeah, guys. Once again, you had a good excuse last year because it was COVID, and you can write your letters, and you cannot go nowhere. Yeah, that's a big excuse. It's okay, but this year it's kind of getting better. I mean, if you don't go to Philippines or China. If you want to go to Ukraine, we have a tour in November in Kyiv. So I think it's a great tour. One city, two socials. November, nice weather, not so hot. I mean, if you don't like to be in the heat. July. I think
July
guys
was hot.
complained
July
about
was
July.
hot. And the AC, like Dina said earlier, you really isn't equipped to handle that kind of heat because they don't get it very
They need
often.
more heater than AC there, so it's
Right.
not everywhere AC even there. So yeah, great opportunity for you to go to Kyiv, Ukraine in November. So and it will book really quick. So hurry up.
It will book,
You
and
know.
then we're going to get guys upset that it's sold out. But we just don't. There's nothing we can do about it. So if you don't want to be one of those guys,
Yeah.
it's just a $475 deposit to keep your spot, right? We're not telling you, you got to pay the whole thing. But we want to make sure you're serious about going over, and the $475 shows you're somewhat serious. So you just put that down, and if something changes and you can't go, just tell Michelle to move it into open, and you can use it next year or whenever. So it's not a problem, right? All right. This has been fun. I like doing it. They don't let me on very often, and then Anna comes back, I'll be kicked out
Yeah.
again for good. I know,
So
but
guys,
that's
you
fine.
have
So-
this week and next week you have a good opportunity to see John because Anna's coming back with
Yeah, then I'm gone. They won't let me
a
in.
lot of information for you guys.
Block me. Yeah, so yeah, but that's fine. These guys do an amazing job. Dina's great. Guys, if you want to talk to the women instead of write to, you can do Skypes with Dina, and she will do Skypes or phone calls for you, and she's great at that. She helps you. She gives you good advice. Dina is amazing. We love having her here. All right.
Thank you. Thank you guys.
All right.
Thank you for watching. Till next
Thanks.
week.
Yeah, and thanks guys back there for doing all you do with the show. You guys did a great job. Thank you so much. Now we get the applause. Yeah, when it's about them. Did we get that before with everybody? No. Yeah, you guys are so bad. All right. Till next time. Thank you guys.
Good night.